Alright, good morning po sa inyong lahat. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. We're just going to pick it up in a bit. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Welcome na naman po sa isang episode ng online series na ito ni Inang Pamantasan kung saan ang pagkatuto ay walang hangganan. Ito po ang PNU Talks. Ako nga po pala si Boris Joaquin. Ako po ang magiging learning from home buddy ninyo ngayong araw na ito. At ang magiging topic po natin is about managing change. And especially during this time of crisis, napakahalaga po na maunawaan natin paano nga ba mina-manage ang change. So sa mga ka-join pa lang po ngayon, ito po ang online series kung saan ang pagkatuto ay walang hangganan. Ito po ang in-establish ng Philippine Normal University. Ang tawag po rito ay PNU Talks. Ako po si Boris Joaquin at ako po ang magiging learning from home buddy ninyo. Kung meron po kayong mga katanungan, i-comment nyo lang po ito sa comment thread sa baba. Okay? At ang maganda rin po sa mangyayari sa araw na ito ay after this talk, mamimigay po ako ng reading resources na maaari ninyong gamitin after today. Ito po ay dalawang articles po ito na pinamagatang Managing Anxiety, tsaka isa po is Decision Making During Crisis. And meron po akong assistant, ang pangalan po niya ay Juliet, and she will probably be commenting down below. But she will be giving you her phone number. If you give her your contact information, then i-email po niya sa inyo yung mga reading resources na binanggit ko kanina. So I just want to actually get a feel on how everybody's doing. So if you are listening or watching me right now, paki-comment lang po, wave lang po kayo, kaway-kaway lang po dyan. I just want to know if you guys are there. Right now I can see around 30 people yata joining us online, but I want to be able to interact with you as well. Magbabasa rin po ako ng comments mamaya, so I could probably answer some questions. Again, my name is Boris Joaquin and I am your learning from home buddy sa araw na to. At ang topic po natin is about managing change, especially during crisis. Alright? And ang akin pong experience ay, ako po ay corporate educator. So, for all of you teachers out there na nakikinig, na nanonood nitong live broadcast na to, you're in the education field. In a way, I am also, but I am more of a person who designs, develops, and delivers learning solutions to our corporate clients. That ranges from multinationals, locally owned corporations, SMEs, NGOs, and institutions, and even churches. So, madalas po ako nagiging consultant, executive coach, or minsan trainer. Pero dahil nga nagkaroon ng quarantine lang recently, natigil po yung mga public engagement po namin. Hindi na po namin siya masyadong ginagawa. And I'm forced to do a lot of things online. But I'm still in the business of designing programs. And I know that in the general community quarantine, bawal pa rin yung mga training, public engagement. So I guess this is my new normal, and I'm very privileged and honored to be invited to be part of this PNU Talks. Kasi I really like giving learnings, especially on areas of expertise. And one of which is change management. Madalas ko pong i-discuss yung change management as a topic. Good morning, Carla. Good morning, Arlene, all the way from Calamba. Good morning, Jeffrey from Parañaque. Hey, Bunjo, thank you for joining us. Again, if you want a copy of the reading resources that we will be giving away, my assistant, Juliet, will be joining the thread in a while. All you need to do is just say there that you want those reading resources and you'll get it. Again, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Welcome po na naman sa isa pang episode ng online series ni Inang Pamantasan kung saan ang pagkatuto ay walang hangganan. Ito po ang PNU Talks. Ako po si Boris Joaquin at ako po ang magiging learning from home buddy ninyo ngayong araw na to. At ang topic ko po is something that will be useful for everyone. It's called Managing Change During Crisis. How do we respond to people who are reacting to change? What's the strategy behind it? What's the overall perspective and framework? Yun po ang pag-uusapan po natin ngayong araw na to. Alright? So, siguro at this point, maana tayo magsimula. And there's a significant number of people already joining us, and that's really good. Now, change is hard. Naniniwala ba kayo doon? Naniniwala ba kayo na change is difficult? Definitely, when we talk about change, hindi siya madali. Not a lot of people can adjust to change quite easily. Hindi siya, there's a level of difficulty in doing that. And I used to have this activity whenever I do this workshop live. So nag-improvise na ako kasi medyo online. So I was thinking, if you're watching with me right now, so simpleng exercise lang. Please raise both of your hands. Tingnan lang natin. Now if you raise both of your hands, you have to understand that I'm going to give you an instruction and I need you to follow what I'm going to tell you. Can you put your hands together? Clasp it together. Okay? Pag 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, pagsamahin niyo yung dalawang mong kamay. 1, 2, 3, go. Now, pansinin mo kung ano yung thumb na nasa ibabaw. Okay? Kung yung kanang thumb, if the right thumb is the one that is on top, that's your normal tendency. Or kung yung kaliwang thumb or yung left thumb yung nasa itaas, yan yung normal tendency mo, right? And lahat tayo, we have our tendencies. Right? So, when you do that, when you have your usual thumb on top, gusto ko i-challenge ka. Baliktarin mo ngayon yan. Kung yung kanan mo parating nasa itaas, gawin mong yung kaliwa. Okay? So gawin natin, baliktarin natin yung sequence ng kung ano yung nasa itaas na thumb. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. Now, how did you feel when you were doing that? Madali lang naman kung tutuusin, right? Pero nakakapanibago, right? And some of you may say, medyo na alangan ako. Kasi sanay nga ako na yung kanang thumb ko ang nasa ibabaw, pero pinilit ko na yung kaliwa ko bigla ang ilagay ko sa ibabaw. So, and that's normal. Some of you may feel awkward. Some of you may be disoriented ng konti. Some of you may think it's slower than usual kasi kung ano yung nakasanayan mo, mabilis yun, di ba? Kasi sanay ka na doon. Pero pag gusto mong baguhin, medyo kailangan mo pang tansyahin ng konti kung, okay, ano nga lagay ko ba sa itaas? So change is hard generally. And how are you during this crisis? When the community quarantine was announced, okay, I must admit that I was reacting to it. And then later on, biglang enhanced community quarantine, and then ngayon, na-extend pa siya hanggang May 15, and then baka meron tayong community quarantine, and then they were saying classes would probably resume bandang September pa. So how are you during this crisis? And I'm not dismissing some of the tragic implications of this coronavirus. We know some people who have been infected, are positive with COVID. We know someone who died, and we're not dismissing that. But for us who are blessed enough to still have healthy bodies and are safe and secure in our homes, ang pinagdadaanan naman natin ay stress and anxiety, right? So what are you feeling right now? How are you reacting to the crisis? And not just to the crisis, kundi yung pagbabago, the loss of a job, not being able to earn, some of the adjustments, okay? So how are you reacting to change? Let me offer some options. Magbibigay ako ng ilang options dito. Do you feel alone? So is this a reaction or an emotion that you're going through right now? Loneliness, being alone is probably one of the normal feeling that you might have, especially if you're an extrovert. I think in this crisis, ang mas apektado yung mga kagaya ko, I'm an extrovert. If you're used to being with people all the time, all of a sudden restricted ka, lockdown, you can't do this. May friend din, meron akong isang staff, the graphic designer, nabubuwang na raw siya sa bahay. Hindi na niya alam kung anong gagawin niya. He's used to going out, right? And although he's busy and he loves his family, medyo magandang maging aware tayo sa feelings ng ibang tao kapag merong loneliness, because that could be a sign of depression. Another feeling that you might be, or emotion you might be exhibiting is being awkward. How many of you are awkward at this point? Okay, you can put it in the comment below. Tell me. I want to interact with you. Perhaps later, pag nabasa ko na siya, are you awkward? I know a lot of workers or workplace individuals, professionals, na awkward sila kasi all of a sudden, online communications, right? I'm not used to this. I'm not used to Zoom or WebEx. And all of a sudden, yun ang ginagawa ko na all the time. And do you know, some of these online platforms can actually be so exhausting. Mas nakakaubos ng energy. Psychologically speaking, I think when you don't actually be with the person real time, you don't see their natural body language. Being self-conscious is a normal thing, because especially if you turn on your video. So who among you are awkward during this time of crisis, or in some of the changes that's been happening in your organization, in your role, in your job, okay? So please be mindful of that. Another emotion that you're probably going through right now is being anxious. So can you tell me if you're anxious right now? What do we mean by being anxious? You can be anxious about a lot of things. For one, you can be anxious with the sacrifices that you need to give up, or the things that you need to give up. Parang the sacrifice that you have to make. Sometimes it happens to us, yun yung nagiging source ng stress and anxiety kapag may gusto tayong, alam natin na, okay, mawalan ako ng kita, mawalan ako ng sweldo, mawalan ako ng opportunity to do this. I was very anxious when I realized that we have to postpone several of our learning events in the months of March and April. And I got so worried about that. I think I went through a particular phase of trying to figure out, being sleepless at night. You could be anxious with thinking that there's not enough resources for a lot of professionals out there. Parang people are forced to work and take up some of the tasks that normally they're not doing, o wala sa job description nila. So, and then they feel na baka I don't have enough resources. Or they could be anxious that they're not capable in doing those particular tasks. Parang they lack the capability or the competence. Honestly, I have that first feeling, because normally when we do this learning videos or mga webinars, I have people who's assisting me. You know, all of a sudden, I have to do everything at home, but I need to understand what a camera stand is like, or what's proper lighting, or how do I use the AirPods to serve as my mic. So I was anxious. I'm not competent enough with the technical stuff that is present with what we're doing. Okay, and you can also be anxious on the level of, on the number of changes that you're going through. Parang ang dating nun, parang ano pa ba? Grabe, nag-quarantine na, nag-lockdown. Ano pa ba ang pwede mangyari? Definitely, we were saying, a lot of people are saying, after post-pandemic, going through the pandemic and post-pandemic, I think there's definitely going to be a new normal, and that will be another source of anxiety, okay? Magiging source ng anxiety kasi we would feel na nagbago bigla yung mundo natin. The world will never be the same again. In the education field, in a lot of industries, magbabago ang rules of engagement. The rules of the game will change, and you'll probably be anxious of that. The last or the fourth emotion that was probably happening to some of you is what we call being ambivalent or ambivalence. Being ambivalent is parang not caring so much. Parang, okay, so, ano naman kung ganun. Parang you don't really mind, you're not really involved with the things that are happening around you. You just go on your way. And ito medyo nakakatakot to because if we disconnect ourselves further, disconnected na nga tayo because of yung self-isolation in so many ways. We're disconnected with people. Para ka pang nagiging parang you're numbing your brain. And I remember doing this at a certain point because I felt like nakaka-stress yung situation. So nagbi-binge watch ako sa Netflix or sa Amazon, and I was numbing my brain, and that's a scarier condition because you may think you're okay, but baka biglang magulat ka when stressors strike, okay? Now, those are 4 possible reactions to change. So, just to remind everyone again, you could feel you're alone. You could feel you're awkward, okay? You could be very anxious, which becomes the source of your anxiety. And I gave 3 different definitions of being anxious. Or you could be ambivalent, okay? And I want to check out. Some of the comments that you're saying, or ayun, some people are saying they're anxious. Some people are saying that they need to be ambivalent. Yeah, it's awareness is the first step talaga to recognize what's happening to you right now, and diagnosis is a prerequisite to recovery. So, and if that's happening to you, think about it. It's also happening to other people. And if you're a leader, if you're a teacher, if you're a parent, if you are somebody who's leading others or implementing change, you need to be conscious about those normal reactions towards change. So it doesn't necessarily be the COVID-19 crisis alone. It could be any kind of change. It could be a disruption. It could be a new organizational structure. It could be a new role. You're probably newly promoted, or they reshuffled the staff, or you relocated. I mean, little things can actually become a source of anxiety for a lot of people. So if you've identified those things, it's good to have some strategies. And that's why, as a change management expert, I want to give you a few tips on that. So if people feel alone and ambivalent, alone and awkward, it's probably good to listen and listen with empathy. Just make sure that you understand what they're going through and what's happening to them. Now, if they are anxious in so many ways, if they're anxious that there's so many changes that are happening, then if there are some things that you can control, pace it out a bit, then maybe you should. Okay, maybe you should manage those additional. Ang ayaw mangyari because of the crisis and the circumstantial things that are going on. Ayaw mo nang dagdagan pa yung kanilang perwisyo sa buhay. So on top of the changes that are happening, dadagdagan mo pa siya. People are at different levels of readiness for change. So you need to remember that. Tapos when people naman are ambivalent, they tend to revert to old behaviors. So what you need to do is actually give them focus, give them clarity. And generally for all the types of reactions, maganda meron kang plan of action. You communicate with them, you clarify to them what's going on and what's going to happen. And right now, I could probably summarize all of those tips into 3 essential strategies that you can do, whether in your home, whether in your school, with your teammates, or with your organization if you're a leader. And I hope it's going to be helpful for you. So for easy recall, kung kanina puro A, puro P naman ngayon, so para medyo madaling tandaan, I think the first very key, parang categorical strategy na kailangan natin gawin is to be purposeful. All right? If this is probably the most important time, most important season or stage in your life, career, where purpose is going to be very important to you more than anything else. We need to clarify, communicate, and cascade. If you're a leader of an organization, that is probably one of the best strategies that you need to begin with. You have to make sure that you have a clear vision and everybody understands it. And Rick Warren said that purpose expires every 40 days. So nakakalimutan din ng mga tao, lalo in times of crisis and several changes. So it's really good to remind them. Maybe you should communicate to them about your purpose. Maybe you should communicate to them about what's going on and how you can be focused on that. So goal setting is going to be critical, planning for that. And that's going to be an integral cornerstone to where you are and what you're doing, because babalik-babalikan nyo yung purpose. Again, just going back, this March 15, when they announced that magkakaroon ng quarantine, I'm in the business of providing learning solutions to companies and our clients here and abroad. And a lot of our learning events were postponed. Maybe 7 of them immediately in the month of March. We have to postpone them. So, and then look, parang the future was bleak. Parang malabo ang kinabukasan. Biglang, oh, ano na mangyayari dito? And I'm afraid at our commercial viability. So medyo na conscious ako about that. And just like the 4 emotions a while ago, I was anxious, I was stressed out, I was troubled. I was really troubled. And but during my reflection, I was spending time praying and reading God's word. One of the things that the Lord has impressed on me is I really have a choice whether I'll be troubled or not. I think one of the things that Jesus said in the book of John, don't be troubled. So napaka-powerful na statement nun. Ibig sabihin, if he says don't be troubled, you have a choice whether you'll be troubled or not. And I was choosing to be anxious. I was choosing to be perplexed. And then I would numb my mind naman, para lang makaraos sa pagiging anxious or stressed by watching or binge watching. But then the Lord reminded me of my purpose. He was basically telling me, I'm not keeping you from fulfilling your purpose. You may not be profitable at the moment, but meron kang purpose. And then He reminded me that my purpose is to educate people. My purpose is to equip and to empower and to encourage and to teach. Both of my parents are teachers, by the way. They both teach in the Technological University of the Philippines, which is across your school, our school, at PNU. So, nung niremind ako ng Panginoon about my purpose in life, I gathered my team and I said, you know what? Okay, everything is postponed, everything is put on hold, but it doesn't really stop us from teaching. Maybe we should do something about it. And then some of the guys were saying, pero sir, hindi kami technologically equipped. We don't know how to use this and that, this platform. And I was telling them, ano ba yung pinakamadaling gawin? And they say, Facebook Live. And one of the things that we did is do a Facebook Live, and then Save the Children came into the picture. They wanted to raise funds using the Skillshare series. So we were doing learning sessions on Facebook, and we were raising funds, and we were able to raise 80,000 pesos for Save the Children. In the same manner, kaya may PNU talks, di ba? Parang everything is put on hold in the university, but no one is stopping you from educating. So being purposeful is very key. If we know our purpose, we can not only just survive this crisis, we can thrive. DDI came up with a study in 2017 that purpose-driven organization tend to outperform other organizations by 40%. In the book Good to Great, purpose-driven organizations outlast other organizations throughout history. And also as individuals, if we are clear about our purpose, I think we will be successful no matter what. Whether it's our career or vocation. Financial viability is another discussion altogether, but God willing, if you fulfill your purpose, most likely it will pay off in the long run, and that's what I'm hoping in my situation also right now. Companies, businesses, when I lead them in strategic planning, I'll be leading a couple of them next week, and some of them are in the travel and tours industry, and of course you know that they're badly hit. But it's probably good to recalibrate and rethink, ano ba talaga yung purpose namin for doing this? We're not just trying to make money, right? And we're not just doing this because it's a job. We're doing this because it's a calling, okay? So being purposeful at this time is going to be a most important, essential foundation of your being. And in dealing with other people who are anxious, ambivalent, awkward, alone, it's good to remind them also of what their purpose is. Ano ba yung, saan pa sila tinawag ng Panginoon? Para saan ba ang kanilang buhay? Di ba? Sabi nga ng Nescafe, para saan? Para kanino ka ba gumigising? Sabi ni Caltex in a separate commercial, what drives you? And normally what drives you will keep you going no matter what the barriers are. Nothing can stop you. Learning never stops. So even if people they can't gather in university buildings, learning should never stop in every possible way. So purposeful, okay? Remember that first strategic category. It's very important, and there's a lot of parang if we have more time, if I break it down, goal setting, lead and lag measures, because you need to be able to measure if you're actually getting there. Your purpose is your destination. So it has to be a journey, and you need to have some milestones. Along the way, you measure milestones and misses, and you guide and encourage people using those tools. Now, the second strategic category is being proactive. Okay? Being proactive. So other than having a strong sense of purpose, I would rather use the word proactive rather than productive, because we can be productive and we could be productive in the wrong ways. We're doing the wrong things. It's very important that when we say we're proactive, we try out new things. We're relentless. We're unwavering. Kasi nga alam natin that this is our destination, and we need to try ways, or we need to try vehicles or platforms in order to get us closer to that destination. And mahalaga yung proactivity. And proactivity is a lot better, according to Stephen Covey, than reactivity. Because when you react, wala kang gagawin, di ba? You'll be complacent. You'll stay where you are, status quo, and you rant, you complain. But when you're proactive, you keep on moving forward. You're progressive, right? Now, for a lot of business people, magandang attitude yun, because in this digital era, madali na mag-try. You can just launch something and then try it. Kapag hindi nag-work, bawiin mo, revise it, do something else. So normally the sub-strategies under being proactive is what I call persevere and pivot. Persevere or pivot. Kapag successful yung idea or yung steps or action steps or yung idea na ni-launch mo, it's very important that you persevere. Tuloy-tuloy lang. Go lang ng go. Nag-work di ba? So you persevere, you keep it going. Pero pag medyo hindi nag-work, and there's some areas for improvement, may weaknesses yung tinry mong idea or project, then you have to pivot. Okay? What does pivot means? Bawiin mo, revise mo ng konti, enhance mo, and then try it again. Okay? So under proactivity, medyo importante yung thoughts of persevering or pivoting. Because you need to move forward with successful action points, and make sure that you remove gaps, you remove areas of weaknesses. All right? I'm on my third point, but just checking everybody. Thank you. I think I'm reading some of your comments, and you are giving me good thoughts and good vibes. Thank you very much. The last strategy, strategic category, is to prioritize. All right? So I think I believe that other than having a clear sense of purpose, being proactive to persevere on things that are working and things that are, and then pivot things that are not, it's good that we weigh down our values to prioritize. I mean, timbangin natin kung alin yung mas mahalaga at this point. And there is so much parang tools to do that I could probably share to you. But one of which is yung i-categorize natin ano yung mga importante. Parang time management siya. So I have another version of that. We call it the feasibility, the impact versus feasibility. Okay, impact versus feasibility. So if you can see this chart, So, di ba parang high, low, and high, low. Okay? Kita niyo yan, right? So, kunwari, ito yung impact, ito yung feasibility. So, kung may marami kang task, marami kang projects, marami kang gagawin, pag-isipan mo, ano ba dun yung mataas ang impact at mataas yung feasibility. So, if kung mataas yung impact niya at feasibility niya, so most likely they belong here. Yeah, they belong here. High impact, high feasibility. So, yun ang gagawin mo. Ipa-prioritize mo yun ngayon. Right? Pero kapag pag high impact siya, pero low feasibility, okay, over here, then ibig sabihin, you don't have the tools or the information, or you don't have enough parang certainty that it could actually, it's possible for you or your organization to do. So, ang pwede mong gawin is, mag-research ka pa. Pag-aralan pa mabuti yun. Kasi, hindi mo alam how feasible it is, right? Pero kapag high feasibility pero low impact, then maybe kailangan mo siyang itabi ng konti. Kasi even if it's something that you can do, hindi naman siya nakaka-contribute sa iyo or sa organization mo. And magandang practice to because I find that a lot of executives, a lot of professionals out there, they trouble themselves doing a lot of things na wala namang saysay. So, just because it's part of their to-do list. So, that has little impact or no impact at all. Pero, it's part of your agenda. It's very feasible. It's part of your laundry list or to-do list. Then, obviously, kapag low impact, low feasible, huwag mo nang gawin at all, right? Now, this is very useful. Like, sa situation ko ngayon, looking at the work from home arrangement, so, when we were doing this, I realized that what would be high impact and high feasible is being able to produce videos that we can do online. I don't have all the equipment, but I do have my cell phone and my iPhone with me. So that's high feasible in terms of recording high quality videos. And then I know it can make a good impact or contribution to the work that we're doing. So go. So we started doing that. So even when I got this invitation, and by the way, a shout out to Shirley Naval. She's the one who helped me coordinate this, and I appreciate it, with Dr. Vergara. Thank you for having me. And so it became a high priority, and I thought, okay, this is a good way to bring our content, to share our content outside. So it's high impact, high feasibility. Another high impact and high feasibility is being able to write articles. So I reconnected with Rappler. This entire talk is going to be an article in Rappler that will be released today or tomorrow. So it's entitled, How Do You Respond to People Who React to Change? So it's exactly what I'm saying right now in straight English lang and in a very succinct and brief way. So nandun siya. Na-realize namin that although it's important to keep designing our curriculum, that's high feasible, but right now it doesn't have an impact on what we're doing in our business. So it's there, nakaschedule siya, pero hindi siya kasing dalas ng ginagawa namin ngayon with videos and writing articles. And then those that are high impact is, for example, having an archive of all our videos in a learning platform, kagaya ng masterclass, or we don't have that. Wala kaming technology. So we said, okay, pag-aralan muna natin to, but definitely it's not something we're going to do right now. That entire exercise that I shared to you is what we call the crisis cone, okay? The crisis cone. So parang you can categorize impact and feasibility according to the crisis cone. So I'm going to divide it into 3. So if it's high impact and high feasible, then probably you need to do that on a daily basis. Nandito siya. So, siya yung pinaka-importante sa'yo, right? And then yung medyo low feasibility pero high impact, baka dito siya. Baka monthly or quarterly na lang yan, alright? Pero yung hindi masyado importante pero baka may impact sa organization mo, you probably need to gather more information, or you probably need to see how much it will contribute to your overall success. Then maganda siyang i-park na lang muna, but you include it in your strategic planning session or discussion with your group or your company. individually, it's also very helpful. I think you get to gauge then what you're going to do more while you're working at home or while you're staying at home with your family. You may want to do that exercise with your kids. It doesn't have to be as technical as I'm referring to it a while ago. Just talk to them on how to do things and how ano yung mga mas mahalaga sa buhay nila. Like my eldest daughter, in one of my discussion with her, it's a development discussion, it's a mentoring discussion, as I would call it. Pinag-uusapan namin kung, sabi ko, what do you love to do? What brings joy into your heart? Then maybe that's what you should focus on. Tapos may mga importanteng bagay din na kailangan tapusin sa school niya. Of course, we don't have to leave that behind, but it should be there. It's also important, but she may not necessarily like it. So binago ko lang yung criteria or description, but still it's almost talking about impact and visibility. And I managed to get her around her things, and in a way parang have a list on the things she should be doing in the course of her quarantine period. Mukhang kailangan mag-usap ulit kasi extended yata sila for a few more months. So just to recap dun sa 3 points na yon, I did say that it's important to be purposeful, right? Purposeful. You have to be proactive. All right, there you go. And you prioritize. You value the things that are of value. And of course, when you prioritize, it's very important that you prioritize people, right? Okay, it's very important na at the end of the day, importante na we recognize and we connect with people more. I guess the crisis has really showed us that connections with people, communications with people, compassion is the most important commodities that this world can ever have. And all the more we should love people. There's a study that was done by a US-based company called Lifeway in 2013, and they said that in times of natural calamity and crisis, mas mataas yung propensity ng mga tao magbigay, tumulong. And we know that also in our country. But it's also the time now in the US where people talk about God more. Parang their propensity to believe in God becomes higher. And as a Christian, as a believer in Christ, I know for a fact that this is a turning point in our human history. A lot of us are parang teaching and saying that mahalaga yung patience. Kailangan maging patient tayo. The crisis teaching us to be patient. But I also believe, I think God has been patient with all of humanity all of this time. And when you spend time reflecting, maybe God wants to talk to you. Maybe God is trying to get your attention. And it takes an entire pandemic to get your attention. And you don't waste that. We need to be stronger in our faith. There's a reflection that I had a few weeks ago, and it's a message that I shared to our church as well. It's based on Isaiah 26 verse 3. If there's one thing that we can share to people and what people need so badly at this point, especially in times of crisis and change, is to be at peace. Diba? Kasi change and crisis can be very chaotic. But people want stability. They want to be stable. They want to be at peace. In the Maslow hierarchy of needs, yung first two layers doon, di ba? Yung physiological needs tsaka safety needs. If those first two levels are shaken, everything else, But God promises peace that transcends all understanding. God promises an inner peace that even in the midst of a storm or chaos, we can find stability, security, and safety. And we can afford that through His Son, Jesus Christ. Right? Change is not entirely bad. Change is actually very important in so many ways. Look at this illustration that I did. This is probably one of the best ways to describe change. Kasi nanggaling ka from your old self. That's who you are, status quo. Change wants to bring you to your new self. change wants to change you. There's transformation when it comes to change. May metamorphosis. Okay, so this crisis overall is going to bring out a better version of ourselves. But in order to do that, kailangan mong pagdaanan yung all of those emotions that I mentioned a while ago. Being alone, being awkward, being anxious, and being ambivalent. Change brings you to a pit of depression where you go through different stages of ranting, reacting, resisting kasi you're in denial that it's happening to you, and then some of us can be rebelling. That's like what's happening in the US right now, na ayaw nila ma-quarantine for the sake of their human rights. But once you overcome all of that and you rise above that challenge, then what happens is you welcome your new self. You become a new person. And that can only happen if we have the stability and the peace that Isaiah 26 verse 3 is actually offering. And in that verse, if I memorize it right, it's saying that you who has a steadfast, you will have a perfect peace. Hindi lang siya basta-basta peace, pero perfect. It comes from God so it's perfect. You will have perfect peace. Those of you who are steadfast in mind and trusting in heart and trusting in you. So, yung dalawang yung dalawang conditions doon is steadfast of mind. And I just gave you 3 tips, strategic categories that demonstrate steadfastness. Because if you're purposeful, if you're proactive, if you know how to weigh things and prioritize properly, that's steadfastness. You're relentless. Kahit anong mangyari, go lang ng go. Pero alam ko kasing yung patutunguhan ko. That's steadfastness. But the other condition to have perfect peace in this time of change and constant change and crisis is a trusting heart. And you need to put your trust to the God of the universe, to the sovereign Lord of all, the one who gave us Jesus Christ so that we may be able to survive all sorts of changes. And not just survive, but eventually thrive. I hope this morning's session has been helpful for all of you. I'm going to go through to some of the comments right now. I'm going to use my remaining minutes to answer. I don't have to. This morning's session has been helpful. So tingnan ko lang kung may mga questions po dito. Yes, I agree, Myla. Change is not entirely bad. We said that a while ago. Hindi naman kailangan mahirap we don't have to look at change negatively. Compassion is the most important commodity. It's really good to, this is really a good time to help. Hi Bing, thank you for watching. Leveling impact and visibility using the crisis code. Yes, I agree, Jocelyn. You're welcome, Myla. This is also a very good opportunity for me. Thank you, Jennifer, for saying 2 thumbs up. You love the 2 thumbs exercise? Yes, I do too. Lately, I've been realizing na pwede siya. Your new goal, according to Arlene, your new goal is to journey with us as we seek our purpose, persevere and prioritize. Yes. And then Jean said, being proactive helps you define your goals. All right. Okay, if you have more questions, just tell it to me here, guys. And then parang wala naman, parang we're good. Everything is are you guys okay? Do you think if you're happy with what you've heard and you think it's helpful, can you just put a thumbs up there in the comments or heart this video? Please do share it. We really would like you to share it to as many people as you can who you think would benefit from this topic in managing change, especially if you are a person who's leading other people. And even if you're not, if you're a teacher or a parent, this is definitely going to be useful for you. Just in case you want a copy of the 2 reading resources that I mentioned a while ago, mamimigay po kami ng white paper on managing anxiety and decision making during crisis, all you need to do is put a comment down na gusto nyo yon, and then one of my staff, si Juliet, will coordinate with you. But you can also contact her and just basically text this number, 0917-512-6392. Or you can follow me on my Facebook page. That's Boris Joaquin 1. You can read my name in the post above. If you also have an Instagram account, I really don't mind you following me also there. Kasi medyo konti pa lang yun nandun. So it's Instagram is at Boris Joaquin. I'm also available in LinkedIn. And yes, I do interact with people sa social media, especially ngayon. maraming time. So you have to connect with me, and if you want some of these materials to be available to you, I don't mind sharing it. We don't mind sharing it. Again, this is the time that I think people help people in different ways. We're not necessarily frontliners or medical or health workers, but we are educators, and if there's one way that we could help make this world a better place is by teaching and ensuring that people are encouraged, uplifted, and equipped with the tools that they need. So again, maraming salamat po for joining us today in today's PNU Talks. Wag ho natin kalimutan i-like at i-share ang episode natin. And sa muli po, ako si Boris Joaquin at sumasa inyo ang PNU Talks. Good morning and God bless everyone.